Good evening. I'm Jack Barry. Tonight, Hank Bloomgarden, who has so far won $116,000, will play a fourth tie game against Harold Craig at $2,000 a point. Much could be won or lost in just a matter of moments. To learn the outcome, let's meet our first two players. As Geritol, the high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast, presents 21.
Back for the third week, Mr. Harold Craig. And returning with $116,000, Mr. Hank Bloomgarden.
Gentlemen, welcome back to 21. That thunderous reception from our studio audience indicates that both of you are well liked by all audiences and having a hard job deciding who they want to win on or lose on this program. How do you feel tonight, Hank, with $116,000 at stake?
Same way I felt when I was engaged in all those ties with Jim Snodgrass. This tell the story?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I understand exactly. And how about you, Harold? Your first fling here at television, and you come from that small town upstate New York, Granville. Much excitement up there?
Oh, yes. We've had quite a hum up there.
A hum?
More excitement, I believe, since last year's carnival, perhaps.
I must hear about the carnival sometime, Harold. That must be a humdinger if this created a hum. Well, gentlemen, we'll get right to business here on the program. Everybody's out there waiting to see what's going to happen at $2,000 a point, because one of you could win $42,000 here in a few moments if you end up a score of 21-0. So let's get right to it. Fellas, take your place in the studios, put on your earphones, and I mean this sincerely. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Neither player inside the studios can hear anything until I turn the studios on with these switches, nor can they see anybody in the studio audience or hear the applause. I'll turn the studios on right now. Can you hear me all right, Hank?
Very well, thanks.
And how about you, Harold?
Yes, I can.
All right, fellas. A big one's coming up, so give yourself a moment or so to calm down, and we'll get right on with the game. All right, Hank and Harold. Hank, I'm going to turn your studio off the air. Once again, it's at $2,000 a point. Your $116,000 is at stake, and I'll get back to you in a moment. Harold, I think you know the object. You have to get to 21 as fast as you possibly can by answering questions graded from 1 to 11. The 11s, 10s, and 9s are more seriously hard. The 1s, 2s, and 3s are a little easier. And here is the first category. Novels. Novels. How many points do you want from 1 to 11? You grade yourself.
I'll shoot the works on this, and I'll try 11.
You go all the way. The most difficult question, 11 points. All right, Harold, we know you read a lot, and you're taking a chance on this one. Here you are for 11 points. Tell us the names of the characters referred to in the following novels. First, The Last of the Mohegans by James Fenimore Cooper. Second, The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo. Third, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Fourth, The Pathfinder by James Fenimore Cooper. That is a question for 11 points. Shall we start at the beginning, Harold?
Yes, please.
All right. First, The Last of the Mohegans by James Fenimore Cooper.
The hero in The Last of the Mohegans was the Indian, and his name was Uncas.
Then your answer is?
Uncas.
Uncas is right. You've got the first part. Incidentally, I would have accepted Chingachgook, his father, who also might have been considered by some to be the last of the Mohegans. Second, The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo.
The Hunchback was the bell ringer in the book, and his name was. It sounds more Japanese than it does French, but I believe it's Quasimodo.
You're right. You've got 2 of them. 2 to go. Third, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas.
The Count is he's a fellow who had all the trials and tribulations, and he's quite a swashbuckler after a while, and his name was Edmond Dante.
Dante is right. You've got 3. You have 1 to go for a full 11 points. The Pathfinder by James Fenimore Cooper.
He was the hero in most of most of the series there. The leather stocking tails, and sometimes called Hawkeye, but his real name was Natty Bumppo.
You're right for a full 11 points. We'll get back to you in just a moment, Harold. Hank Bloomgarden, $116,000 at stake at $2,000 a point. The category is novels. How many points do you want from 1 to 11? Grade yourself.
I'll try for 10, please.
10 points, one of our more difficult questions. Name the authors of the following novels of prophecy and pseudo-scientific fantasy. First, The Time Machine, published in 1895. Second, From Earth to the Moon, published in 1865. Third, Looking Backward, published in 1888. First, The Time Machine.
The Time Machine was written by H.G. Wells.
Correct. Second, From Earth to the Moon.
Did you say the year in which that was written?
1865.
It must have been Jules Verne. Jules Verne.
Jules Verne is correct. You've got 2 of them, 1 to go for 10 points. Looking Backward, published in 1888.
Looking Backward. It was about the man who was mesmerized for over 100 years. Edward Bellamy.
You're right for a full 10 points. I'll get back to you in a moment, Hank. Harold Craig, you have 11 points. The category is kings. Kings. How many points do you want?
I'll try for 21. I'll take 10.
You're going all the way. 10 points, which would give you 21. I must point out to you that even if you answer correctly, Mr. Bloomgarden still has his turn to go, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Incidentally, since you're trying for 21, this is the critical point of the game. You can have some extra time if you need it. Here is your question. When the Republicans won the 1931 elections and the dictatorship of this country, the Republicans of this particular country, and the dictatorship of this country crumbled, its king refused to abdicate. He was outlawed and fled, never to return to his native land during his lifetime. Tell us first the name and number of this king, second, the name of the ruling family to which he belonged, and third, the name of his grandson, who is currently being groomed as the future king of this country. Do you understand the question?
Yes. Yes.
You want some extra time to think it over?
Yes, of course, please.
I'll tell you when your time is up, and good luck, Harold. Your time is up, Harold, for 10 points, which would give you 21. But please remember, Hank Bloomgarden has 1 turn to go. Let's take it right from the beginning. First, tell us the name and number of the king I have described.
Well, that would have to, I mean, this isn't the answer, of course. That would have to be Spain, and the dictator, Rivera, and the king were both expelled, and the king was Alfonso the 13th.
That's right. You've given me an awful lot, but that only answers one part of the question. Alfonso the 13th of Spain is right. Second, the name of the ruling family to which he belonged.
Well, I don't know whether the family or the firewater came first, but it is Bourbon.
Well, I don't know which came first either, but you've got the correct answer. That's the important thing. That's 2. Finally, and if you answer this correctly, Harold Craig, you will have 21 points. The name of the grandson who is currently being groomed as the future king of this country.
His picture was on Life magazine 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's Prince Juan Carlos, or Carlo.
I don't care how you say it, you've just scored 21 points. Now, Harold, I'm going to ask you to please be very quiet. Do not divulge your score. You have 21. Hank has to have his turn to go. I'm going to let you listen, but don't speak. Hank Bloomgarten, you have 10 points. The category is kings. How many points do you want from 1 to 11?
I'll try for 21.
11 points. That's
11
the most
points.
difficult question, trying for 21. Hank, I can tell you now, as I always do, I think it is fair to tell you, that Harold Craig has scored 21 points. If you answer correctly, we'll have another tie, and we'll have to play an additional game at $2,500 a point. If you miss, well, I'm not going to bother to figure it out. For 11 points, and if you need some extra time, you can have it. Give us the names of the kings who met their deaths in the following manner. First, beheaded in 1649 due to the efforts of Oliver Cromwell. Second, court-martialed, convicted, and shot on June 19, 1867. Third, shot during the month of July in 1918. And fourth, killed by a Croatian assassin at Marseille in 1934. You understand the question?
Yes. Could you please repeat the second part?
Court-martialed, convicted, and shot on June 19, 1867. You want some extra time to think about this, Hank?
Please.
I'll tell you when your time is up, and good luck. All right, Hank, your time is up for 11 points, which would give you 21 and a tie, or if you miss, would dethrone you, and our new champion would be Harold Craig. Here is your question. First of all, give us the names of the kings who met their deaths in the following manner. First, beheaded in 1649 due to the efforts of Oliver Cromwell. Who was that?
It was Charles I of England.
Correct. You got one part. Court-martialed, convicted, and shot on June 19, 1867.
It was just after the Civil War. Can't think of any king in England. Oh, in Mexico, the emperor, Emperor Maximilian, he was shot that time.
You're right. You've got the second part. Third, shot during the month of July in 1918.
Just before the end of the war. Could I come back to that, please?
Yes. Fourth, killed by a Croatian assassin at Marseille in 1934.
It was King Alexander of Yugoslavia.
Correct. One more part to go, which will give you 21 points and another tie. Shot during the month of July in 1918.
No, it wasn't the Kaiser. What other kings? Gee, I don't... Oh, the royal family of Russia was wiped out by the Bolsheviks. They were all shot. Tsar Nicholas II.
You're right, for 21 points. You heard what happened, Harold. He's got 21, you've got 21. We have to play another game. This time we'll be playing at $2,500 a point. But if I ever saw two fellas who needed a rest, you do it right now. So relax for a second and we'll get right back to you. While the boys are relaxing and resting in there for just about 1 minute, in the meantime, you just at home watch this. Now on with our game. Incidentally, all questions used here on 21 have been authenticated for accuracy and order of difficulty by the editorial research board of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Harold and Hank, you with me?
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
address this to both of you. This next game is going to be played at $2,500 a point, which means there is a possible, well, it's over $52,500 will be at stake in this game. Please, both of you, play carefully because so much is at stake. And now, Hank, I'm going to turn your studio off the air and get back to you in a moment. All right, Harold, here we go again at $2,500 a point. The category is boxing. Boxing. How many points do you want from 1 to 11?
I'd better cut down a little on this. I'll take 7.
7 points. Tell us the name of the man who won the first World Heavyweight Championship under the Marquis of Queensberry rules for 7 points?
That would be when John L. Sullivan was beaten and lost the championship, and he was beaten by Gentleman Jim.
And your answer is?
Gentleman Jim Corbett.
You're right, for 7 points. I'll get back to you in a moment. Hank Bloomgarden, at $2,500 a point. The category is boxing. How many points do you want to try for from 1 to 11?
I'll try for 10.
For 10 points. One of the memorable events in boxing history occurred on June 21st, 1932, when the manager of the loser in a heavyweight title bout proclaimed from coast to coast, "We was robbed." Tell us first the name of this famous boxing manager, second, the name of the 2 contenders, and third, the name of the man who became heavyweight champion of the world that night. First, the name of the famous boxing manager.
We was robbed. We was robbed. That was Joe Jacobs.
Correct. Second, the name of the 2 contenders.
Wasn't Jack Sharkey a heavyweight champion, and didn't he fight in that fight?
As usual, Hank, I'm afraid that I can't answer questions. You have to do that. You'll have to give your answer.
Well, 1932. He was in that fight. Jack Sharkey was one of the contenders.
That's correct. And the other?
The other was either Primo Carnera or... I'd like to come back to that, please.
All right, we'll leave one part of that question open. Third, the name of the man who became heavyweight champion of the world that night.
Well, that was Jack Sharkey.
That's correct. That was Sharkey. You've got everything but half of a question for 10 points. The name of the other man he was fighting.
I think it was Carnera. I'll say Carnera.
I'm sorry, it was Max Schmeling. You lose your 10 points, you don't go below 0, you don't score anything because nobody ever goes below 0. Better luck on the next round, Hank. Calm down. Harold Craig, you have 7 points. The category is World Cities. World Cities. How many points do you want to try for?
I'll take 10 on this one, Jack.
10 points. One of the tough questions. Tell us the names of capital cities of the following countries. First, Libya. Second, Bulgaria. Third, Ghana. And fourth, Lebanon. Shall we take them one at a time, Harold?
Yes, please.
The capital cities of the following countries. First, Libya.
I guess I'll have to skip by that one for a little while.
All right. Bulgaria.
The capital of Bulgaria is Sofia.
Correct. Ghana. G-H-A-N-A. Ghana.
The capital of Ghana would be the same as it was at the Gold Coast, which is Accra.
Accra is correct. 2 to go. Lebanon.
It's not Damascus, that's Syria. Or Amman, that's Jordan. Beirut.
Are you telling me that?
Yes, Beirut.
Beirut is right.
Beirut.
You've got 3 of them. For a full 10 points, which would give you 17 points, you have to tell me the capital city of Libya.
Oh, that's where the pirates were holed up. Tripoli.
You're right. For 10 points, giving you 17. I'll get back to you in a moment, Harold. Hank, you have no points at the moment. The category is World Cities. How many points do you want to try for?
I'll take a 10.
A 10-point question. For 10 points, tell us the names of the capital cities of the following countries. First, Libya. Second, Bulgaria. Third, Ghana. And fourth, Lebanon. First, Libya.
Libya. Well, this is just not my night. I think it's Tripoli. Tripoli.
Tripoli is correct. You've got one. Bulgaria.
That's Sofia.
Correct. You've got two. Ghana.
That's Accra.
You've got three. One more will give you 10 full points. Lebanon.
Lebanon, it's... You know, I was just going to say Schmeling. It'll probably be a curse upon me. Lebanon. Oh, it's Beirut.
You're right for a full 10 points. If either player stops the game right now, Harold Craig, with a 7-point lead at $2,500 a point, will win $17,500 and will become the new champion. But he doesn't know it because they do not know each other's scores. Let's see what happens. Gentlemen, what a shock ending. They'll have to carry me out this time.
Three of us or two of us.
But, well, you just won yourself $17,500. I have to look and figure this up, Hank. Regrets, of course, but I can't feel too badly. You had $116,000 when you started. We subtract the $17,500. You're left with $98,500. That's the amount. Well, fellas, stay here. Stay here for something, will you, both of you? We'll be back in a few minutes. Well, the most warm, charming thing happened right here. Harold Craig, our new champion, turned to Hank Bloomgarten and said, I really am awfully sorry to beat you. I've been a fan of yours for a long time.
And I still am.
I think that's very nice. Hank, you have $98,500. A check from Geritol, and that amount will be waiting for you. That's the second highest winner in our program, one of the biggest winners in the history of television. Do you have any specific plans for the money?
Well, I guess I'll head for the bank with it first.
That's a good place for it.
And then I'll give some thought to what I'll do with it.
I know you're going to give it good thought. You've displayed such wonderful information. Millions of people around the country, I know, are very happy in the knowledge that you go home with close to $100,000 tonight. And I know I personally have enjoyed immensely being with you here on the program these many, many weeks, and wish you success and happiness in anything you do. A nice big ovation. Yes, Hank.
I just wanted to say, subject to the limitations of time, that, of course, the experience that I've had happens once in a lifetime, and I feel very, very gratified and pleased. It's just remarkable. I wish it could happen to everybody, and I can think of nobody I'd rather have it happen to in the future than Harold
Thank you.
Craig.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you, Harold.
Thank you, and good night, Hank Bloomgarten. Thank you. See you next week. You stay right here with me. I'm going to close with this fellow because he'll be on next week with your $17,500. Hope you remember what I told you earlier about Geritol, the high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast. Next week, Harold Craig will be defending his $17,500. Until then, Jack Barry saying, thank you. Good night, Hank Bloomgarten. Good night, everybody.
Transportation was arranged by American Airlines, American choice of experienced travelers everywhere, and famous for the Mercury, luxury leader in the world of flight. And now, this is Bob Shepard wishing you good health from Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, who brings you Geritol, Sominex, RDX, and other fine quality drug products.